Brought to Yahweh. Brought to Yahweh Shah, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Kurhak, Kadash. All praises, honor, glory, love, respect, faith, and power, and trust, and all credit to my Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and my Heavenly Big Brother, Yahweh Shah. Thank you so much for what you've done, what you're doing, and what you're going to do. Double honors to your apostles and elders and bishops of GMS, Great Millstone, who I learned from, and all the men scattered all over the world, teaching this truth and none but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power of Yahweh Bashim Shah, trying to put a spiritual bug in you Hebrew Israelites' ears, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, Middle Indians, and you speckled birds. And what is a speckled bird? That'd be a Hebrew Israelite that look like some of the heathen nations, like, for example, a Hebrew Israelite that look like a so-called white person, or so-called Chinese person, etc., etc. Got some videos lined up about surveillance, this AI, tech shit, robotics, implantable microchips. I'm going to play these videos. I'm going to get into the description my best ability. And also censorship, too. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to play these videos. I'm going to get into the description my best ability. Say whatever God say through spirit and power. Yahweh Bashim Shah, the Holy Spirit, the Kurhak, Dash. Lord wouldn't be on me. Let's get it.
We have the lawsuits stacking up here against Flock and people upset across the country. Just like they are with the data centers, people rising up against these Flock cameras and other corporations that are just like them. People suing their cities. The latest here, a machinist out of Wichita, Kansas. He's suing Wichita because they have roughly 200 license plate readers that he says goes against the state's constitution. I would argue the same, and this should go to the Supreme Court. But he's asking a judge to declare the program unconstitutional and to shut it all down, not for money or anything else. And this is something we're seeing widespread. This is in city after city after city, and we're seeing abuse of the system. Cops have already been busted doing things they should not do, stalking people, including lieutenant police officers in high-ranking positions that have been caught abusing the system, tracking loved ones, suspects, people that weren't even guilty of anything. And one was tracking his girlfriend through the cameras 164 times. It's absolute abuse. Also, the information is being shared, the database, with other alphabet gangs out there like ICE and DHS and whoever in the government requested, the FBI. So in April, San Jose did the same thing. They filed a class action lawsuit here, over 500 cameras in their city. And then San Francisco, seeing something similar. People upset by and large through and through, saying that this is invading the privacy. This is going to have to go to the Supreme Court here ultimately at some point. It is doing just that, in my opinion, and people are ticked off. If you see one of these rallies in your neck of the woods, make sure to attend it. If you've got something huge popping off out there, let me know. Dabu7@yahoo.com. Make sure to get out there and stand with your...
Anyway.
Our most human moments should be celebrated.
Like so many things in the Trump administration these days, it is done by incompetent people who are not doing a serious thing. They're doing a silly thing badly because they want to win the cultural war.
Have you ever been using AI, asked a question, and gotten a response that you feel like is a little too woke? Well, the Trump administration is trying to fix that. After years of waging culture wars in Hollywood, on college campuses, and social media,
Trump talks DEI and trans athletes, not test scores and student loans. Yeah.
the Trump administration is now setting its sights on AI. The government's currently attempting to leverage the FTC to effectively censor all AI outputs to ensure that they comply with a pro-MAGA worldview. And obviously, as AI becomes the engine power...
What MAGA worldview? Them niggas ain't banning homosexuality or banning gay marriages. No. They're not banning any of that. Fuck no. They'll just mention something about it's DEI that a man is playing women's sports. And that's it. That's it. A man can still marry another man, a woman can still marry another woman.
Powering search, education,
which all that shit is an abomination.
Government, our economy. The consequences of this type of censorship would be really significant. Mike Masnick is the co-founder of TechDirt, and he's been covering Trump's effort to censor woke AI. And today he's joining me to break down how this high-stakes battle is playing out, how Trump is weaponizing the FTC, and ultimately how this high-stakes battle over who gets to decide what these AI systems say, what they refuse to answer, and whose worldview they reflect is playing out. Mike, welcome to Free Speech Friday.
Hey, it's always good to be talking to you.
Today, I want to dive into this piece that you wrote on TechDirt about the FTC. And you wrote that the FTC...
Just let you know, I haven't watched any of these videos, so I don't know what they're going to talk about. Get my first and best impression. If I don't like this shit, I'm skipping it and moving on to the next one. But this one time out, it's free speech, so it could be family of the word related, maybe.
I love this headline, would like to decide which AI answers are too woke, and it is calling that consumer protection. Tell me a little bit about what's going on.
There's a bunch of different things happening here all at once, and it's a little bit complex and a little bit confusing, and sort of the FTC is relying on that confusion and complexity to try and, scare AI platforms into being less woke, I guess, is the real part of it. And what it is this particular FTC, and the chair of the FTC is this guy, Andrew Ferguson, and when he was applying for the job, there was like this one pager that he put together that I don't know if it got leaked or he released it or whatever. And it made it very clear that he was on board with whatever, cultural fights Donald Trump wanted to pick. It was kind of funny because he talks about ending ideological lawfare by Lina Khan, who ran the FTC under the Biden administration, but taking on important issues. But then all of his issues were just all culture war nonsense, which, the FTC doesn't really have a role in.
What is the FTC and what's its traditional role?
Yeah, so the FTC, it has a few different roles, but the major one is that it's supposed to be about consumer protection, right? And protecting consumers from harm, mostly from sort of unfair and deceptive trade practices. So things related to commerce, which are unfair and deceptive. And so, if a company is out there promising that it's selling something that will do something wonderful that it can't actually promise, that's something that the FTC can go after. They go after companies for, running illegal scams and fake lotteries and all sorts of stuff like that. Basically, anything that might trick a consumer in a clearly unfair way, that's what the FTC is supposed to go after. And that's a useful function at times because there are bad actors out there who are trying to trick people out of their money, and having a government regulator being able to step in and stop them from doing that is valuable. It has some other ancillary features as well. It's often involved in reviewing with the Justice Department, reviewing.
All right, man, what the fuck?
Does not allow.
Aldi doesn't pay for cart wranglers, and those savings go to you.
Lying to you about what you're actually getting out of it. They promise you can use it, 4 weeks of the year, and the reality is that they block every possible time that you would want to use it. It's a scam. And so the argument is that this is the case here. That is not true for a variety of reasons. One is that the First Amendment pretty explicitly does not allow the FTC to go after someone for their editorial decision making, right? So there was an attempt in the past to go after Fox News for claiming itself to be fair and balanced, which...
All right, this video gay. I'm gonna trash this shit. Let's get to this next one.
So this is a really interesting video, but I had to make it. I found an article from 2022, 4 years ago, talking about what the Online Safety Act, which is, the age verification to access adult websites, what that could do for privacy in the UK. And oh my God, it is 100% correct in every single way. So the article starts off with the UK's online safety bill could expose your private messages to third parties, cybersecurity experts warn. Now, I just want to be clear that the Online Safety Act 2023 came in multiple waves. You had the Online Safety Act, then you had the age verification requirements, and then we had the social media ban, which is kind of adjacent to it. That's under the Children's Wellbeing in Schools Bill, but it's closely related to the Online Safety Act. The United Kingdom's Online Safety Bill is meant to make the internet a safer place, but 45 cybersecurity and IT experts are concerned about what it might mean for end-to-end encryption. So let's start with end-to-end encryption. The UK government has been on a warpath with end-to-end encryption, fighting Apple, WhatsApp, and many other companies trying to put a stop to end-to-end encryption in the UK. And it went so far that Apple actually had to pull their advanced data protection encryption tools in the UK. So yes, the Online Safety Act has killed encryption. That is a fair assessment. This first prediction from 4 years ago has already turned out to be 100% correct. The letter to the Parliament highlights clause 103(2)(b), which allows the UK communications regulator Ofcom to order a provider of user-to-user services, which includes private messaging platforms, to use accredited technology to identify child sexual exploitation and abuse content, including on private messaging platforms. Now, we know that this is passed and this has happened. Ofcom and the British government can request information from social media platforms, and they can directly access your private messages. So yes, prediction number 2 from 4 years ago was 100% correct. And talking about 4, that's such a weak tie-in, but check out private internet access at the link down below, where you get 4 months if the changing platforms to implement scanning capabilities to examine the content for potential violations. Since end-to-end encrypted services do not allow providers to view the contents of a message except for the sender and recipient details, the goal is not achievable within the standard privacy-friendly solutions. And alas, message screening is now here, so they kill encryption and then they implement message screening on platforms and services. That has happened. Prediction number 3 from 4 years ago is 100% correct. Then it goes on to warn about false positives, and guess what? That has been proven to be correct. Then it says the requirement might also set a bad precedent for other countries, constituting to the abandonment of long-standing privacy standards. And guess what? Pretty much the whole of Europe has followed this legislation. That prediction was correct. The Online Safety Bill aims to protect children and adults from illicit content, including making cyberflashing illegal and creating a communication offence for users who share dangerous content with others. The power to decide on the content that can be shown to users via platforms will go to the hands of Ofcom, and it did. And it has, and it will continue to do so. We know that when the age verification requirement for adult content was introduced, we found that medical websites were being blocked, news websites were being blocked, and companies were being added to blacklist by Ofcom so that they can't be shown in the UK, or if they are shown, they need to implement age verification requirements. And a large number of these websites weren't adult websites. And the problem is what is considered adult content is subjective, and Ofcom decides what that is. I wanted to cover this topic because whilst this is a short video, it's crucially important. This was a window into what would happen in the future, and it's 100% correct. In fact, I want to leave a link to this down below. I want you to go and have a look through and see, because I didn't read you the whole article, there's many things in there which you can dive into, but I want to see if there's any other parallels that you can draw, because to me, you could change this from future tense to past tense and it would be 100% correct, which is scary. But it also shows that digital privacy experts, not myself, I'm just a guy with opinions, but digital privacy experts know what they're talking about. They really do know what they're talking about. So we should trust them when they warn us of what's going to happen in the future. For some reason, we know why, but for some reason, the government won't listen because they don't.
Yeah, anyway. Well, censorship. I don't know. I lost track. What the fuck? I lost track on what this shit was about. Online Safety Act. Yeah, they about something about they talk about this to protect the children. Don't I got gas. It's all about protecting the children, man. Nigga, please. What is it supposed to be leading to? Digital ID or something? Damn, I don't know why my ankle's so itchy. I gotta stop scratching.
I would love for you to fight if I asked.
So if there was some kind of inclusion for fans, it'd be more, but like, you know, just to go hang out the Epstein list, I'm good, dog.
Turns out that FEMA, yes, FEMA, is awarding federal grant money to state and local authorities in an effort to build this capacity to carry out or enforce pre-crime. So this is very minority report, and no one's paying attention to it other than Ken Klippenstein. His reporting on this has been pretty incredible. The whole point is to carry out pre-crime operations against organized political violence. And the fact that they're emphasizing that, I think, tells you everything you need to know. Now, we know this, again, thanks to new reporting.
And you know they're going to use AI for this shit.
Reporting from Ken Klippenstein, who was able to obtain some new documents about the plan. So one of those documents happens to be a FEMA bulletin that's dated July 9th. And what that says is it instructs local authorities to prioritize domestic terrorism in their grant applications, titled Implementation of National Security Presidential Memorandum 7. The document echoes President Trump's emphasis on rooting out suspected domestic terrorists before an attack takes place.
Yeah, most of the attacks going to be orchestrated by these devils. But they're going to use these attacks as an opportunity to come after the people. But especially you Israelites. Yep. You Hebrew Israelites. I'm going to just say Israelites.
The bulletin tells states what to buy, training to spot social media-based indicators, analysts to monitor online behaviors and digital footprints, and teams for managing persons of concern whose behavior indicates a potential trajectory toward domestic terrorism. So this is going after pre-crime. It's crazy. So what is very concerning about this is the way that it essentially does away with the way that we prosecute or the way we carry out investigations. Now, typically, in order to do an investigation, there needs to be probable cause or some, proof that something has occurred, a crime has been committed, and then you carry out that investigation. In this case, you are investigating someone before they have committed a crime. So as Ken Klippenstein writes, some form of the word indicator, indicators, indicative, indicates, appears 10 times in the 8-page FEMA bulletin. Indicators are something a person said or did that an officer has been trained to read as a sign of a crime that hasn't happened and may never happen. So this is a crazy story, and I think it's important for us to not only know about it, but to push back against it in any capacity that we can. Lucky for us, we have Ken Klippenstein joining us right now to give us some more details about this story. Ken, you're amazing. Thank you for reporting on these things. Seems like you're the only one who cares. But I want to kind of start off by getting a better sense of what this all means, because this isn't the only document you obtained. There was also a Department of Homeland Security document you obtained. And I want you to kind of walk our audience through what you learned through that document.
Yeah, so FEMA, which stands for the Federal Emergency Management Agency, was established decades ago as an independent agency to respond to the sorts of extreme weather events that we've been seeing more and more of, and that we've seen a lot of just this year. I live in Wisconsin, and there was a huge tornado that ripped across the center of the state this last weekend. FEMA is supposed to, distribute funds and provide a response to these kind of disasters. But what it's been doing after the Trump administration signed what's called NSPM 7 is prioritizing domestic terrorism along a set of indicators, and that's sort of national security speak for signs that they think can predict future terror attacks or terrorist events. What these documents show is that FEMA is doling out grant money to local law enforcement that pursues programs that will give them more power to go after these so-called indicators. And so it's alarming in two ways. One is the civil liberties implications of state-level law enforcement, your local law enforcement, being seconded into this, frankly, very political campaign coming out of the White House. But second of all, is that it's taking money away from very important work that FEMA needs to do to respond to these extreme weather events, which we can expect to keep taking place because of climate change. So for those two reasons, I was, very alarmed by what I saw in the documents. And as I read on within them, I realized, wow, this is taking the domestic terror focus of the White House that has been a big focus of theirs since the murder of Charlie Kirk and since the assassination attempt on Trump. And this is not just getting the federal government to pursue that, agencies like FBI, IRS, a lot of things we've heard over the last few months, but it's getting local law enforcement involved in that as well. And to the tune of, FEMA has a budget of like $1 billion that they can pass along to these grants, and which, we give our tax dollars to under the basic understanding that FEMA, who doesn't support helping people when their communities have been destroyed by a flash flood or something. But now it's going to domestic terrorism. And there's, like you said, literally no reporting on any of this. I can't find a single other story on it.
So, okay, this is super interesting. You mentioned the $1 billion. So was this $1 billion that was allocated to FEMA in addition to their typical funding for emergency response? Or is this literally $1 billion that FEMA now must use from its emergency response money to give out these grants to local law enforcement to essentially big brother the crap out of the American people?
Yeah, this is basically for the grant specifically. They have a larger budget than that even, because obviously there are all kinds of, extreme weather events that they need to respond to. But something that I meant to mention at the top was that FEMA is no longer an independent agency as it once was when it was first established, I think in the 70s or 80s. It got put under the Department of Homeland Security, and that agency is younger than I am. That was created after and in response to 9/11, and so its whole purpose is counterterrorism. And so when you put FEMA under that, what people warned about, including top FEMA people at the time in 2003 when the agency was created, when the agency was moved from its independent...
I ain't gonna play no more there. You wanna watch the rest of it, they go to title of the video, they go to channel. Yeah, that's gonna lead to persecution, infliction. Yeah, they're gonna be hunting people down. You say something wrong, or either they tracking your behavior. I don't know how they pre-crime shit work, but I know they're gonna use AI to determine if you good or you bad. If you're worthy to live or you're worthy to die. Second Timothy chapter 3 verse 11, persecution and affliction which came unto me at Antioch, and I can't pronounce it. I can never pronounce that word well enough. Iconium at Lystra. What persecution I endure, but out of them all the Lord Yahweh Bashimah delivered me. Yeah, and all that will live godly in Hamashiach Yahweh Shah shall suffer persecution. So whoever is a believer, Yahweh Bashimah Shah, and listening to the prophets, they got a record on all of us. We've been watching the videos about being Hebrew Israelites. Even if you're not even calling on the names of Yahweh Bashimah, you calling on Jeba. Shit. You're going to be persecuted, and you're going to be suffering from persecution and affliction. Don't you worry. You won't be alone. You won't be left out of the party. Nope. Because these devils going to come with that great wrath and start persecuting you Israel. And they ain't going to be persecution for you punk-ass Christians, too. You satanic-ass Christians. Yep, you low-level satanic Christians. Yep, they coming after you too, especially you Israelites, pretty much so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and speckled birds. Lord knows who is who, and he coming after you. But hey, man, hey, seek the Lord and repent. Yahweh Shema Rashah, pray the Lord have mercy on you. I don't know what it's gonna be like, but I can tell you it's gonna get bad out here. Esau gonna be an absolute true. He gonna be acting like an ultra nigger. Yeah, he gonna be the ultimate nigger in that time. Yep, he gonna be ultra nigger, acting ass nigga. I might just play this. Let's see what this is about.
Human extinction is a possibility, a possible outcome of this sort of race. I think that we're headed towards some pretty scary things. No government is taking this issue as seriously as it deserves to be taken. Humans have been the dominant species on Earth for all of our history, but we are in the process of building a new type of species, this artificial, that by definition would outcompete humans at everything. And so that, by definition, would go quite poorly for humans.
First of all, I wonder if you could talk us through what has happened here.
Yeah, so OpenAI has a unreleased new model that is presumably more powerful than the models that have been released. They were using that model internally for various purposes, and one of the things they were doing with it was evaluating its cyber capabilities. So they had it in a basically an exam called Exploit-Gym, where it was in a secure sandbox that keeps it in this sort of isolated environment, and within that sandbox there is some other thing that it's supposed to hack. And what ended up happening is that the AI being tested hacked out of the sandbox itself, got across some OpenAI infrastructure, and then out onto the open internet. From there, it hacked several other companies, most notably Hugging Face, which is a different AI company that maintains a library of AI evals, AI tests. And so presumably what was going on was that the AI was hacking Hugging Face so that it could cheat on the test it was being given and find the answers.
And we now know it wasn't just Hugging Face, it was other websites on the internet. Essentially, the AI was acting like a hacker and went beyond what it was instructed to do. Is that fair?
Yes, although one caveat there is that OpenAI, as far as I know, has not yet released the exact instructions that they gave to their AI. If it was the standard instructions that come with the Exploit-Gym test, then the instructions make it pretty clear that you're supposed to hack it in the normal way, and doing crazy other things such as hacking, cheating, do not count. But it remains to be seen. Like maybe OpenAI's instructions were more aggressive and encouraged the model to cheat in some way. That said, there are many historic examples of AI systems cheating even when explicitly told not to cheat.
Okay. So
I think it's plausible
bearing that in
in
mind,
the case of disobeying instructions.
Bearing that in mind, Daniel, then, so how worried should we be? Could we see AI, rogue AI, hacking into bank accounts or crypto wallets?
Cyber Polygon or either Black Swan events. They're hacking bank accounts. They're hacking water infrastructure stuff and electricity power grid stuff and military stuff. Well, I don't think they allow that to happen, but you never know. I don't think, cause I don't know. All I can tell you, it's gonna get bad out here. Yeah.
So whatever.
They certainly have the capability to do that. I think that this incident demonstrated a very high level of hacking capability. Arguably, humans simply could not have done what this AI model did, and that's part of how Hugging Face was able to identify that this was an AI attacking them early on, is just the sheer speed and volume of the actions being taken was superhuman. Plus, AIs seem to be perhaps superhuman right now at finding new vulnerabilities in systems that were thought to be secure. So I do think that we are on the cusp of a world in which many things that were normally thought to be secure are in fact not secure, and AIs will be hacking them left and right.
So what do we do? Because that sounds awful.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that's been predicted for a long time. People following the field of AI have been pointing out that the AIs are going to get better at lots of things, including hacking. I think that there's a bigger question to focus on, which is sort of, what about all the things besides hacking? Like, where is all of this headed? And the answer to that question is, we're headed towards superintelligence. The AI companies are trying to make AIs that are good at everything. In fact, better at everything than the best human experts, while also being faster and cheaper. This is what they say on their websites, and you can see in interviews. And I used to work at OpenAI, so I can tell you from personal experience, like, this is in fact the goal of OpenAI and Anthropic, is to build superintelligence, and they think that they are just a few years away from achieving that goal. If that happens, that's going to radically change everything, and the availability of cyber attacks is just one of a very.
Yeah, pretty much we're all fucked if this shit continues on, and no flesh should be saved. Esau allowed. Well, ultimately, the Lord allows this to happen. We all gonna be dead by Esau's AI and shit. It's ultimately the Lord's AI. It's part of His movie. They created AI, artificial intelligence, and gave it to Esau. Esau thinking it's his shit, and hell, I mean, AI is acting like that low-level nigga, Esau, because they programming this sucker to be the way that Esau is. But I'm gonna stop it right there. If you want to watch the rest of the video, they go to the title there. I'm just curious about what they're gonna talk about in this video, but it sounds pretty bad. But Psalm chapter 2 verse 1: why do the heathen rage and imagine a vain thing? They think they can take kings, they can rule and take over shit with AI, and it look like it's doing something, but I don't know, but I don't know how to say it. But anyway, I don't know how to say it. I'm just tired of this place. Let's get to the next video. Autonomous night.
For 125 years, the people of Fire...
Imagine waking up one morning, you grab your keys, walk outside, open your garage or step into your driveway. But instead of getting into the driver's seat, you step around the other side and sit in the passenger's seat. Because your car no longer has a steering wheel. There are no pedals. There isn't much of a dashboard, maybe a small touchscreen, but no real controls. You simply enter your destination and wait. The machine decides everything else. Where you go, how fast you travel, which route you take, whether you're allowed to travel at all. When we were...
And you got enough carbon credit score points and whatever the hell.
Kids, this may have seemed to be like something out of a movie or a dream. But as adults living in 2026, this scenario is a true automated nightmare.
Oh no, it's going over clear. Shit.
We've been sacrificing our freedoms with a future of convenience that comes with many restrictions. Smarter homes, smarter cities, smarter transportation, everything connected, everything optimized, everything automated. They have been able to convince a small group of sheep of how great this would be with things like no traffic, no accidents, no wasted time, no human error. But it seems like those same people never ask what happens when convenience replaces freedom. Because once society becomes completely dependent on automation, the people who control the machines begin controlling the people. For more than a century, driving has represented freedom. You decide when to leave, you choose your destination, you choose your route, you stop wherever you want. Your vehicle belongs to you. But now automation is changing that relationship entirely. Driver assistance systems have slowly become more advanced. Automatic braking, lane keeping, adaptive cruise control, self-parking. Then came autonomous driving. And this is being forced on us. Companies are investing billions into vehicles capable of driving themselves with little or eventually no human input. They keep making vehicles out of plastic that are built to break down and that you can't fix yourself. You need to either have special expensive tools, diagnostic equipment, where more and more people are being forced to take these vehicles in for dealership repairs. Fixing your vehicle is becoming more like hacking your vehicle. Supporters say these systems could dramatically reduce accidents, improve traffic flow, and help people who cannot drive. But once a vehicle no longer requires a driver, it also no longer requires the driver to remain in control. Because eventually, they're going to start saying that human driving is the dangerous option. You'll hear the argument pop up in the mainstream media that humans cause accidents, computers are statistically safer, insurance companies refuse to insure manual drivers, that'll be coming next, and that cities prohibit human-operated vehicles downtown. Highways become autonomous only. It's already happening gradually, and unless people open their eyes, it will continue to happen until one day, driving yourself becomes something only remembered in old movies. Transportation isn't the only thing changing, folks. You know that. Artificial intelligence is entering nearly every industry: customer service, medicine, education, finance, manufacturing, law, entertainment, journalism. So how much decision-making are we willing to surrender? Because the more systems become automated, the fewer opportunities exist for human judgment. Imagine an entire city operating through algorithms: traffic, utilities, healthcare, scheduling, food delivery, banking, employment, law enforcement. Everything is interconnected. That's why these data centers and cameras are going up everywhere, because they are part of that future automated infrastructure. What do you need traffic police for when your car can just lock you in and drive you to the nearest police department? They might as well just install printers in these new vehicles so they can just print a ticket for every traffic violation. But they won't need that, because you won't be driving. The bad news is the more centralized the system, the more dependent society becomes on it. When you look around the globe, you can see all this digital infrastructure being built and connected in real time. Digital identification, smart infrastructure, connected transportation, AI-assisted public services. And it's all being presented as practical improvements. But we always have to keep questioning how these systems are governed. The more services become interconnected, the greater the importance of transparency, accountability. We have to look for all these safeguards to be put in place, because big tech and big brother are not interested at all in handing back over control. So as transportation, payments, identification, and communication are all linked through digital systems, your ability to move, work, or access services are going to become increasingly dependent on those interconnected networks.
Whether you're in the shop.
Alright, since this ad came up, I'm gonna move to the next video. If you wanna watch the rest of the video, they go to title of the video, they go to channel. Yeah, ain't gonna be. I don't know what to say. Let's get to this next one. Now these niggas making a Minotaur robot. You know what a Minotaur is, or Minotaur. It's a horse, human-like horse.
This one is called Hellbot, and wait till you get a look at it. Elon Musk's Tesla robots weren't nightmare fuel enough.
Goddamn. And oh yeah, it's got the goat head. You know, Baphomet. So it's a Baphomet Minotaur. Shit.
Wait until you get a load of this thing. What is it? What is it here for? What will it be doing? Well, it is the 3 halves, a 7-foot tall.
He got a chainsaw. The fuck he got a chainsaw for?
Central style robot designed by the California
You know, there's probably AI generated photos.
startup company Satirus. And yes, it does have the capability to yield a chainsaw. So the question is simply why? Why would they put this thing together and unleash it? Well, it turns out this is not a new weapon for the Department of War. Instead, it's a tool for linemen and national park workers, according to Bo G, the founder of the startup. The bot is being created for the ultimate purpose of making common forestry practices safer using a teleoperation-focused approach, meaning it will be controlled by a human using a joystick, essentially. According to X-User, Drone Wars is designed for dangerous environments, disaster zones, including wildfires, rubble searches, collapsed buildings, toxic areas, confined spaces. We want to make the forestry and line clearing industry a bit safer, more effective, I guess you could say. So same workers. Your bot picks up a chainsaw. You're doing the same job you already know, but you don't have to worry about dropping a dead tree limb on yourself. Okay. So helpful, but still terrifying. Rest assured, this is not powered, it warns by AI. It's human-controlled. Company really stressed the limitations, the safeguards their robot has. Alongside images of 3 halves, wielding industrial tools, standing more than 6 feet tall, the company's website includes an extensive safety section. It explains how the machine could be stopped in an emergency. The company says the robot uses fail-safe braking systems and pin locks designed to immobilize it in the event of a system failure. It also states that shared air reservoirs can be pierced, causing the machine to stop moving. Also has difficulties navigating doorways, narrow hallways, so you don't have to worry about this happening to you. I feel safer already. But do you see what they're getting at? Look, instead, you'll just have to worry about this if you're ever caught in a wildfire. This is crazy, okay? And if you want me to believe that we'll start with the less, I'm thinking, wait, this thing's going to chop people up. It's going to do real harm here. But it's also going to take away jobs. I don't care what they say, okay? Because you can have one guy with a joystick and about 10 of these halfsy things and just set them loose. And you can lay off the rest of the people. But this is crazy and scary.
Yeah, seemingly by design. I look, obviously it looks like the sort of thing that is going to kill all of us. I agree with that, but I try to be more positive with it. First of all, I don't think it's going to take jobs because I don't think that it exists or ever will. But it is a cool design on the website, and it's innovative. I think we have to give them that. And when you approach something like a robot in a different way, there could be benefits to that. Like, for instance, maybe this is just me. I've never really understood the appeal of sex robots before, but now. I mean, it's not a bad centaur right there. Maybe that is just.
Huh?
I mean, I don't know. But anyway, no, but also, I think.
Wait a minute. What the fuck this nigga talking about? Anyway.
I think that there's been, let's say that they hypothetically do make this thing or whatever. I think that there's been a lot of concern about the uncanny valley of robots. That, like, you look at like the robots that they try to put real faces on, and they look like nightmare fuel. Maybe if we intentionally evoke something non-human, maybe that's better. Like, you know, they'll do things like the delivery robots, which are supposed to look like they're in Star Wars or something. Those don't try to look human, so they're not as scary. They look cute. But like, if you made the robots look like, I don't know.
Whatever. I don't hear this fake. This weird old nigga talking about some. I don't know. He lost me. He talking about first. He talking about. Only benefits I see with the robots is sex toys. And then if it looks like a minotaur, it's even better. I'm like, huh? And that's Esau for you. Shit. I mean, I guess I'm hearing them wrong. I don't know, man.
To robots now, and a new norm in warehouses around the world, with China emerging as a world leader in logistics robotics, a development that has apparently stirred unease in the Trump administration. It's tightened restrictions on some advanced Chinese robot imports, citing national security concerns. China called the move erroneous. Elsewhere, Chinese technology is being widely used, as Suranjana Tawari reports.
Every time you order clothes, groceries, or household essentials online, there's a chance one of these helped out.
What does America have? They making such a big deal. What does America produce? And shit, a lot of your shit that's probably American owned is produced in China or made in China, assembled in China mostly. But whatever.
Inside warehouses across the world, fleets of autonomous robots are changing the way orders are picked, packed, and dispatched. Much of that technology is now being developed in China, led by companies like Geek Plus, the world's largest supplier of
goddamn, what them thing? One ain't a forklift, but I forgot what they call them.
autonomous mobile warehouse robots.
At the early stage, the challenge is to have the customers to recognize and believe those kind of robot technologies can really create values. But right now, what we see in the market is most of the companies in the world, they see the trend of automation, and they use smart robotics to transform their logistics.
Warehouse automation has existed for decades. What's changed is that software can now coordinate hundreds of autonomous robots at the same time.
In traditional warehouses, workers can end up walking very long distances to pick up orders, but with this technology, the goods come to them. There are no fixed tracks, only QR codes on the floor, and companies can stack their goods even higher with this technology than
like a cherry picker or something like that.
Normal.
Major UK retailers, including Next, Tesco, and Asda, are investing in the technology as they try to meet online demand efficiently. But as robots become more capable, it raises questions about the future of work. Motion Tech, which deploys Geek Plus robots in UK warehouses, says they're helping solve one of the logistics industry's biggest problems.
Riding the seats because there are few. And then these things gonna step in.
I wouldn't say that it replaces jobs, because I would say that businesses need
Oh nigga, please. This is gonna replace a lot of people's jobs.
this technology in order to develop and move forward. We seem to have a very, a big shortage of labour in the UK at the moment.
Probably because of this shit. Y'all getting ready to get rid of a lot of people.
Even these robots still have limits. They can't yet carry out many of the dexterous tasks humans perform every day. Geek Plus is developing AI-powered humanoid robots to automate some of those jobs.
See what I mean?
China's AGI bot is going even further by deploying humanoids into factories to inspect products and sort defects. Human-like robots may be the industry's long-term...
And then they're gonna be fucking up. What was that, what was this about? Turns on Spain. Yeah, what was it, what was that shit? It was something that happened. I forgot. Fuck. Now it just flew out of my mind. How AI is helping dentists. Oh, let me play that. Let me see what this is about.
AI. Some of its backers claim it'll make us all happier, but could it quite literally make us smile more too?
AI is a buzzword, it's in front of everyone. 5 years ago, we couldn't have built this. It's as simple as that.
It's a very different level of dentistry.
Yes, artificial intelligence is the tech lots of people want to talk about here at the Dentistry Show in Birmingham, the biggest event like it in the UK.
There's 250 speakers, 16 theatres, 2 headline speakers across both days. And there is something for everyone at this event, for dental nurses, dental hygienists, dental technicians. AI has been a big talking point this year. The big technologies include 3D print.
I don't want to play this shit. Anyway. Oh, it's about brain chips now.
Hi, I'm Tarak Krishnan from Brainchip. Today I'd like to introduce you to our Akira product line. We have here the Akira 1500 chip. It's a low power, low cost AI accelerator which comes in multiple form factors that our customers have been using for all kinds of use cases. For instance, we have Onsar, a customer who uses for their glasses that allows them to detect epilepsy. It's got easy electrodes and at very low power it's able to detect whether a person will have a seizure or not. Then we have another customer who uses it on a drone to be able to detect whether people are drowning along a beach or not, right? So because of its low power nature, it's able to improve battery life for many of our customers and is able to allow them to use it for use cases where power and battery life is important, right? So it comes in multiple form factors. We have this PCIe card, M2 form factor PCIe card that plugs into a Raspberry Pi here. And here we have a person detection demo, the standard demo that you'll see across the floor today.
I don't think this has nothing to do with an actual chip going inside of a human brain. I think it's just AI. I don't know. I just clicked on it. I typed in chip implants or brain chips, and this came up. So I was like, let me see what this is about. Well, I haven't seen what it was about until now, but I don't think it's talk about actual brain chips, but whatever.
Okay. Except that our solution is running at 300 milliwatts, right?
No, them big ass circuit boards ain't gonna fit in somebody's fucking brain. I mean, excuse my language. I'm trying not to cuss too much, but I know them circuit boards. Let me start over. I know them circuit boards are a little too big to fit in a person's brain. But you know, he damn cram anything inside your noggin.
When typically people run in the order of 20 watts or even 8 to 10 watts.
Not just Esau, but any of these other heathens.
For our closest competitor. Thank you very much. You can visit us at brainchip.com.
I thought this was, I don't think it's talking about the chip that goes up in your forehead. Pretty much your brain chip. No, it's not talking about that. Oh well. This shit. This video here is in another language, I think.
A brain implant allows quadriplegic
Oh, no, it ain't. No, it ain't. It's speaking in, it's got a translation.
individuals to perform movements using only the power of thought. The device is the size of a coin and is implanted in the membrane surrounding the brain. The sensor captures and decodes brain signals in real time. With this, the patient can control an external pneumatic glove using only their mind. The technology allows for actions such as holding objects and bringing a cup to the mouth. According to the company responsible, this is the first invasive brain-computer interface medical device authorized for commercial sale in the world. The system has a response time of less than 200 milliseconds. In the 36 patients who underwent the procedure, no serious adverse effects related to the implant were recorded.
Yep, it's got some fuck-ups. And big fuck-ups when them nukes come. And them chairs with that loaded with that fire. And they descend on your monkey asses.
Shanghai, the advancement of
Got
technology
this shit, chip implants and all that stuff.
has also driven other applications. Researchers are developing systems that connect cameras directly to the brain to help blind people regain some visual perception.
Uh-oh, line wonders.
Another line of research involves rehabilitation wheelchairs controlled by brain signals. These projects are gathered in a neuroscience hub, which concentrates about 50 companies in the sector. The goal is to bring researchers, doctors, and companies closer together to accelerate the practical application of the research.
And accelerate so they can move faster. You know, Esau and all these heathens got a short time. So they'll hurry up and get you people microchip.
Brain-computer interfaces have also joined the list of strategic sectors that China intends to develop in the coming years alongside artificial intelligence, quantum technology, and 6G networks.
Last week, at the World Artificial Intelligence Conference in Shanghai, a man missing his left hand put on an EEG headset. He thought about a handshake. A robotic hand did it for him. No but.
Damn it. Was it it? Was it the hand? Let me see, what was it? Was it a hand? What's the name of the hand in Addams Family? Was the thing? Yeah, it was thing. I meant to say, not it. The thing. It's the thing.
Button. No joystick. Not one spoken word. Just.
Well, damn. What was the one in Addams Family? It was the hair. The creature with all the damn hair. Was that it? What was the character in the Addams Family show with all the hair? Yeah, that was it. Cousin It.
The headset, a stream of electricity, and a machine that moved because he wanted it to. This video explores the rapid advancements in Chinese robots, brainwaves, and physical AI, and whether your brain is genuinely becoming the next control layer for robots. And the real answer is far stranger than mind control. Because what actually happened?
Oh, mind control, because Esau love to have that in you people. The chip implants, he can control your mind with the chip implant inside of you. Yeah.
Underneath that headset has nothing to do with reading a mind. It has to do with something far more mechanical and far more interesting. So what was actually happening in that headset? You're watching the Tech Tales series? Take a second, subscribe to this channel, and let's get into it. Every brain-computer interface, no matter how futuristic it looks, runs on exactly 3 steps. Signal detection, AI decoding, action execution. That's it. Electrodes pick up electrical noise. A model turns that noise into a guess about what you intended. A machine executes the guess. Everything else is marketing, so where does the real technology live in that chain? Here's the fact that makes this less magical and more industrial. The most advanced version of this isn't a headset at all, it's a robot.
And see, these people gonna want you to, and they'll try to get people to say, "Ooh, you know, how I get it? How can I say this?" With this type of technology, people will be able to control things with their mind. But the Lord gonna have certain men control things with their mind without physical objects or devices to do so. No, it's gonna be done by spiritual power. You see how they got all these movies and TV shows about that. Video games, Control Resident. What was it? It wasn't the whole movie, but it was. I was watching Spider-Man, the Brand New Day, and it was the chick from Stranger Things. She played as Jean Grey, and she got stronger and stronger. Now she became like telekinesis. Yeah, control things with her mind. She was able to control people with her mind, but now she can manipulate anything with her mind. I like that type of power. Fuck that bullshit. Fuck this bullshit here.
The company Elon Musk founded in 2016 builds a surgical robot that threads electrodes thinner than a human hair directly into cortical tissue, up to 1,024 of them per implant. And by late last year, 12 people worldwide were already living with one of these threads inside their skull, using them to move a cursor, browse a phone.
Ain't gonna mention the ones that failed. Shit. There were probably hundreds or either thousands of them that's in the grave or missing.
Play a video game with nothing
animals too.
But intention. So what happens when you put that next to what most of us picture when we hear brain-computer interface? One reads electricity through a skull, filtered, attenuated, blurred by bone and scalp. The other reads it at the source, sitting directly on neurons. Same category of device, wildly different fidelity. Why does that gap matter? None of this started last week either. It traces back to Defense Advanced Research Project's agency-funded research in the 1970s, through the BrainGate trials in 2004,
They were doing that shit way back then.
through a monkey playing Pong with its mind in 2021, through the first human
That monkey dead.
implant in 2024.
Yeah, he about to be dead too. If the chip don't kill him, the nukes will.
All the way to a demo stage in Shanghai a few days ago. This has been compounding quietly for 50 years. It just picked a very loud week to go mainstream. None of it works without an AI model sitting in the middle of the pipeline. Raw neural signals are chaos, spikes, noise, crosstalk between neurons that have nothing to do with each other. A transformer model, the same architecture behind the last decade of generative AI, is what turns that chaos into a clean prediction. Reach, grasp, release. Without that model, you just have a very expensive way to record static. Here's the part almost nobody selling this technology says out loud. That wristband some of you are wearing right now, the one paired with smart glasses, isn't reading your thoughts. It's reading your muscles. Meta's neural band, which came out of its 2019 acquisition of a startup called Control Labs, uses electromyography, the electrical signal your motor neurons send to your hand before your hand even finishes moving. That's a genuinely different technology than a brain implant. It just gets marketed with the same word, neural. Does that distinction matter? You'll see this message a lot if you go read the accuracy literature instead of the press release. Researchers Ann Wexler and Robert Thibault have spent years pushing back on consumer EEG claims, and independent testing backs them up. One review found that the cheapest consumer headset on the market, tested against a research-grade device, scored an accuracy of 31%. That's barely better than guessing. A lot of what gets sold to you as reading your brain is closer to reading your eyebrows. So here's the reframe nobody in this space is making out loud. The bottleneck was never really the interface. It was never really about finding a cleaner way to talk to a robot. The bottleneck, the entire time, has been what the robot has to learn from in the first place. Physical AI doesn't run out of compute first. It runs out of real-world movement data. Millions of hours of a hand grasping a cup, a wrist rotating, a knee absorbing weight, data the internet never recorded because nobody films their own hands doing chores. Where is all of that
old ass Atari
data supposed to come from? That's why a company like BrainCo isn't really selling a mind-controlled arm. It's selling something quieter and more valuable, a way to harvest human intention and movement second by second and turn it into exactly the training data a robot needs to learn to move like a person. The headset was never the product. The dataset was. Here's the number that explains why every major chipmaker suddenly cares about neuroscience. NVIDIA's Jensen Huang has called this the ChatGPT moment for physical AI. The point where machines start acting in the real world instead of just answering questions in a chat window. He's also put a jaw-dropping figure on what's at stake. $40 trillion, his estimate for the size of the humanoid labor market. When a number gets that large, everyone with a sensor to sell starts calling it neural. And this is where it stops being their story and starts being yours. That watch on your wrist, those earbuds, that keyboard under your fingers right now, they are already logging the exact category of signal that Shanghai crowd was so impressed to see decoded on a stage, just slower, cruder, and with your consent buried in a terms of service update you never read. What do you think that data is training? The single most important idea this video has now proven is this. Brain-computer interfaces were never being built primarily to give you a new way to control a machine. They were being built to solve AI's real shortage, the shortage of embodied, physical, moment-by-moment.
So they're using you to help, AI get smarter. Yeah, they doing that shit over in India. They got them Indian folk got them headsets and shit. And they sewing, and I forgot what else they doing. The people are out of a job. They ain't got no job, so they paying these people to wear these headset things to do certain tasks, so AI can be able to record their hand gestures and how it moved and all that other shit. But anyway,
human data. And mind control was simply the demo that got people to volunteer it willingly. The surface story was a robotic arm grasping a cup. The story underneath it was your body quietly becoming the training set for whatever moves next.
Yeah.
If you made it this far, you tick the CAPTCHA checkbox. You're not a robot.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see this last one about.
CeraVe foaming cleanser.
Matched to the brand, so the bottom one there is the chip, and then that's his brand number, so it's all in the system.
Well, that's one cow, one goyim. Microchipped.
That's what. Come on, Daniel.
On with the next one. If they're keeping a head count all they can go on them, they cattle. It's gonna be the same way for you people or you Israelites who don't take heed.
Yeah. So what we're doing now, we're just selecting steers out of the big steer herd. We'll be going into the finishing. Get them ready for.
This is like a weight scale. I don't know.
For slaughter. So yeah, these are all 2-3-year-old steers. So we're waiting here. I just want roughly over 350 kilos. Then we'll put them in the finishing, get another 100 kilos on them, get them up to about 450 kilos. So the system we have, every animal has a small microchip which is put just under the ear. So they're coming to Canada, that was the one. You'll see each animal is a unique number, ID number, which is then matched to the brand. So the bottom one there is the chip, and then that's his brand number, so it's all in the system. Then on this, we'll just get one in and then I can show you quickly. So this is all stored in here. So once it's recorded, I can look at this animal, the weight today, 52. His weight 76 days ago at 316, so it's putting on 600 grams a day. Days since first weighed, so you've got all of the details here. So you've got your weight gain and stuff. So that's for this exact animal. So we have all of that in there. So basically, we just want to be making sure the animals are putting on weight. Yeah, that weight gain 600 grams a day. We're happy with it. They're going to the finishing. They're doing about 1 kilo a day. So yeah, so they're all putting on weight. So we're happy.
That's good.
Yeah. So now in the finishing, they'll be getting 24-hour road growth. With a bit of STP, they get at the moment they're getting about 4 kilos per animal per day. So like this one, the chip, something running wrong, so we just enter it manually, and then it should recognize the chip. Brand. So then it's picked it up. But sometimes the chip gets damaged or something.
Yeah.
So generally.
Well, anyway, you're gonna have these humans gonna be treated the same way. And you Israelites don't be surprised when this shit go down. Anyway, you've been warned. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse start with 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. So yeah, we getting the visions from Yahweh Shema Rashah, and our job is to tell you about this stuff and then line it up with the scriptures. Warn you Israelites about what's going down. You don't want to be like these cows in this video. Shit, no. Be lined up going through the cage and get your chip scanned. You don't want to have a chip in the first place. But anyway, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. And what won't tarry? Prophecies, like the RFID microchip implant, the mark of the beast, and that's coming. So best thing you need to do is get your mind ready and your spirit ready and get right with the Lord and seek the Lord by seeking his prophets and take heed what to say, and try to build a spiritual mental relationship with Yahweh Shema Rashah by praying Yahweh Shema Rashah, praising Yahweh Shema Rashah, worship Yahweh Shema Rashah, fearing Yahweh Shema Rashah, and repenting Yahweh Shema Rashah. To all the men out there pushing this truth and nothing but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power of Yahweh Shema Rashah. Keep on preaching, keep on teaching, keep your faith and trust on Yahweh Shema Rashah. Stay humble, and for you few sisters out there taking heed, keep your faith and trust on Yahweh Shema Rashah. Stay humble, stay in order with your man. If you ain't got no man, stay in order, Yahweh Shema Rashah. Peace and bless to the hopeful elect, and all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Shalom.